The Sun City murder sent shockwaves across the city on Sunday, but now the case has been cracked. One man has been arrested, but who is this person and why did he do it? The truth would shock you beyond belief. Husbands, beware. If someone has an eye on your wife, you might be in trouble. Do you bring friends home? Do you trust them? Because they can ruin your home. And this seems to be exactly the case behind the Sun City murder in HSR layout. We have brought to you so many cases of spouses straying on their partners. You might even be taking it as what's new about it. But beware, do not, we repeat, do not take it so lightly, because this could prove fatal for you itself. Sunday was not the usual peaceful day in HSR layout. Everyone was just talking about one incident. In hush-hush tones, inside homes, gossip mongers made up stories. They were all talking about the murder of Saurabh Rastogi. This MNC manager's throat had been slit by someone. Police suspected that this someone was his friend. It could even have been a conspiracy by his own wife. The crime scene looked so professional that neither the police nor the neighbors could smell a rat. But with high-tech advancements these days, the cops cracked the mystery in a matter of days.
HSR police station received an intimation that the person inside the room is not opening the door and he's not responding to the calls. After that, police came here, they forced open the door with the help of the local security, and then they found that the person was dead. He was lying in a pool of blood with stab injuries. For last 4 or 5 days, he was staying here alone as his wife had gone out of town. And it appears that it was a friendly entry because there is no forced entry. And probably he was expecting somebody to come. And after the person came, something went wrong. And then he has been stabbed with knife on neck. And because of that, he has succumbed to injuries.
Before we tell you how Saurabh Rastogi met this gory end, let's first tell you about his love story. "35-year-old Saurabh Rastogi was married to the woman of his dreams, Ankisha. It had just been a couple of years since their dream wedding. Originally hailing from Lucknow, a good job offer and a fancy salary brought the Rastogi family to Bengaluru. Saurabh had landed himself a plum post with an MNC outsourcing firm. He was appointed as a senior manager of Genpact. Saurabh and Ankisha decided to make their dream home in a small flat of Sun City apartments in HSR layout. They lived on the 8th floor of the apartment. There was utter bliss in their marital life. They lived in harmony. After working for a couple of years at Genpact, Saurabh decided to taste success on foreign shores. He wanted to explore life overseas. landed himself a lucrative job offer in the US. He had everything going his way: money, love, and whatnot. Preparations to leave for the US along with his beautiful wife were on in full swing. Flight tickets were booked. He was to leave this month end. Saurabh had sold most of the stuff at home. He just could not wait to fly to the US.
June 2014, 8:30 p.m. Flat number 801, Block 3, Sun City Apartments, Iblur, HSR layout. Happiness in the Rastogi household ended with a thud on Sunday morning. Clothes were strewn across the floor, and the cops also found something that sent jitters down everyone's spine. The senior manager of Genpact, Saurabh Rastogi, was lying in a pool of blood. Saurabh was brutally murdered on this fateful day. But where was his wife, Aniksha? What was she doing when her husband was brutally murdered? Aniksha was in Pune. She had gone there to meet her relatives. Who murdered him? Who is the culprit who put an abrupt end to Rastogi's life? Well, we unravel the story to you. From the common friends of the couple, we hear that much before Saurabh met his untimely death, Aniksha tried to get in touch with her husband over the phone a number of times, but her calls went unanswered. When Saurabh did not pick up her calls that night, at around 11 p.m., a panicky Aniksha asked her friends to check on her husband. Two men in their late 30s visited the apartment where Saurabh lived. But the friends found the door locked from inside and left the place, assuming that Saurabh was fast asleep. But after hours of waiting, the suspicious friends knocked at Saurabh's house door once again. Since there was no response again, they decided to call in the police. In the meantime, the two decided to inquire with one of Saurabh's neighbors. The lady next door is said to have seen Saurabh at around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. A team of investigating officers arrived at the spot, but when their efforts of breaking the door open went futile, they left the place unaware of the fact that Saurabh was lying in a pool of blood. According to reports, the police officers are said to have left the crime spot after suggestions by the neighbors and Aniksha that he must have fallen asleep watching TV. The neighbors decided to wait until next morning. They decided to give it another try. But again, there was no response. June 2014, 8:30 p.m. At around 12:30 p.m., the HSR layout police arrived at the spot. This time, they forcefully broke into his house and found Saurabh lying in a pool of blood. His throat was slit with a lethal weapon. The police suspect a knife was used to orchestrate the crime. Here's a timeline of the lost hours. 8:30 p.m. Saturday, neighbor sees Saurabh on the phone. 10:51 p.m. Saturday, Aniksha makes a call to her friends. 12 midnight Sunday, the two friends arrive at the apartment. 12:30 a.m. Sunday, two HSR layout cops arrive at the apartment. 12 noon Sunday, Saurabh's body found by the cops. Initially, the crime scene looked like the house was robbed. Clothes were strewn here and there. The cupboard was open with cash and other valuables missing. And hence the police zeroed in investigation. The cops detained the domestic help of the Rastogi family. Aniksha flew down to Bengaluru and was summoned to the police station. She was questioned and cross-questioned to make headway in the mystery murder. Extramarital affair leads to murder. A list of mutual friends maintained by the couple was submitted to the police by Aniksha. The cops tracked the signals of all the numbers that were traced to Saurabh's neighborhood. They collected the call data on Saurabh's and Aniksha's mobile phones and called the numbers. And there the investigators stumbled upon a person by the name Rishwan Chengappa. Saurabh, Aniksha and Rishwan were colleagues at the same MNC firm. Rishwan was also a close friend of the couple. Cops found out that Rishwan's mobile signals were active on the night of the murder. The cops visited Saurabh's workplace for a background check on Rishwan. Upon investigation, Rishwan confessed that he was smitten by Aniksha's beauty. Rishwan was taken into custody for questioning. City cops solve mystery murder. Rishwan spilled the beans that he had feelings for Aniksha, but the latter had turned him down. Rishwan learned that the cops was leaving for the US, and when he realized he couldn't live without Aniksha, he hatched a plot to murder Saurabh. All hell broke loose because of a lady. Rishwan took advantage of the right timing when Aniksha was not around. Rishwan is said to have contacted Saurabh at around 8:30 p.m. on the pretext of looking for a rented apartment. He visited Saurabh's house. At that time, he was armed with a knife. On entering the house, Rishwan overpowered Saurabh and stabbed him. Once Saurabh was stabbed, his throat was slit with a knife by slashing it 18 times. After executing the crime, Rishwan fled the crime spot.
मैं लखनऊ रहती हूँ, मेरा बेटा यहाँ सर्विस करता था, लेकिन किसी ने उसको रात में आके कैसे अटैक किया ये हमें पता नहीं चला। जो हमें इधर उधर लोगों से पता चला, हम उसी को सुन के यहाँ आ गए, लेकिन जब हमें यहाँ के हॉस्पिटल में पता चला तो वो यहाँ से जा चुका था। मैं बेंगलोर शहर के निवासियों से, यहाँ के नेताओं से अपील करती हूँ और रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ, क्योंकि ये शहर अपने प्रशासन के लिए माना जाता है। मैं भी अपने बेटे के लिए जस्टिस चाहती हूँ। वैसे पुलिस हमें कोऑपरेट कर रही है, लेकिन फिर भी मैं हायर अथॉरिटी से अपील करती हूँ कि मुझे जस्टिस दे।
लखनऊ में रहने के बावजूद हम लगातार टेलीफोन पे बने रहते थे। 7:30 बजे इनकी मम्मी से बात हुई सौरभ की। उसके बाद कोई जैसे हर रोज होती थी, हमने बहुत उसके बाद भाऊ का टेलीफोन आया कि भाई उसका 11 बजे करीब कि सौरभ टेलीफोन नहीं उठा रहा है। हमने कहा हो सकता है किसी वजह से भाई सो गया हो, नहीं कर गया हो, चलो कोई बात नहीं। तो उसका 12 बजे बराबर में से एक पड़ोसी उनका दोस्त था, वो गया, उसने खटखटाया, सौरभ ने फिर भी दरवाज़ा नहीं खोला। सुबह के टाइम हमने लगातार रात भर टेलीफोन करते रहे, टेलीफोन का जवाब नहीं दिया। उसके पास एक टेलीफोन वैसा वाला लैंडलाइन वाला भी था, लैंडलाइन वाला भी उसका टेलीफोन अटेंड नहीं हो रहा था। अटेंड मीन्स उसको निकाल के रखा हुआ था ऊपर से।
The fugitive has been handcuffed. Hoping to get Aniksha, Rishwan came up with a plan. Saurabh was murdered because his colleague did not want to be away from Aniksha. And today, Rishwan has been arrested and his dream of living a life with Aniksha has been shattered forever. Kiran for News 9, Bengaluru.